Well, welcome back to the office, our humble outdoor classroom. It's a bit damp and miserable outside, but actually spring is on the way, and that's an exciting time of year for us. And a lot of people are getting into growing houseplants. A lot of younger people, which is great, really encouraging. You might remember on one of our previous videos about a year ago, we took a cutting off one of our money trees, or the jade plant. The cutting rooted, and this is the mother plant. This is a couple of years old, this plant, and it really needs to go into a bigger pot. So we thought we'd show you how to pot up a houseplant. And early spring, March time, is the perfect time to do this. You can do it at other times of the year, but March is the perfect time, and I'll explain why as we go along. So what do we need? Here's our plant that needs to go into a bigger pot. There's the bigger pot, and we've got compost. This here is the normal compost. So most houseplants, you can just go to your garden centre and ask for some houseplant compost, and it'll look like this, quite dark. But this plant, the jade plant, likes a well-drained compost. It's a bit like a cactus, likes to be a little bit on the dry side. So you might see a difference in colour here. That's because we've mixed some sand into this compost here. If you don't want to mix your own, when you go into the garden centre, just ask them for cacti compost, and that'll have the sand and the grit ready mixed. So I've allowed this plant to go a little bit on the dry side, and when you allow a plant to go a bit dry, it'll start to shrink away from the edge of the pot, which means you can easily take it out of the pot. And you can see then we need to get a good old dollop of compost in there. Let's scoop some of this sandy compost into the pot. You might also notice that I've picked a pot that's got quite a few drainage holes in the bottom because it likes to be a bit on the dry side. If it was a plant that likes to be wet, I'd look for a pot with less holes in the bottom. This one likes to drain through, so we've got lots of holes on the bottom. And now we're going to put our lovely compost. Do you know, call me sad, but I get excited by compost. That's what gardening does to you. So this is a lovely crumbly compost that is going to make a lovely growing environment for the roots of this jade plant. Crassula is the other name if you want to talk posh. Firm the compost around so that he's sitting nice and upright, and then we can put some more compost all around here. I tend to overfill slightly because over the course of the next 6 months, next year maybe, the compost level will sink down as we water and as the plant settles in and the compost settles down. I don't like to push it down too hard. I don't want to compact the compost. It's important that you just allow nature to take its course and it'll just settle itself. A little tap of a pot sometimes is all that you need. Do you know, I think I could do this professionally. That looks great. Now, the important thing to remember with a newly potted plant is that within that circle of the pot, the roots are only going to be in the kind of the central portion of the pot. All the compost around the edge won't have any roots in, so we don't want to be over watering it. This compost is quite damp, so I'm not going to water it at all. What we don't want is to soak the compost and have a lot of really wet compost around the edge with no roots to suck it up, because what will happen is that can rot the roots in the middle. So you just need to, when you've repotted a houseplant, is allow it to be a little bit on the dryish side. Water in the middle where the roots are, but just allow the roots to give them a couple of months to work their way out to the kind of the outer rim of the compost. And then if we did this, middle of March, by middle of June, the roots will have worked their way all around, and then you can water the whole of the root ball. One of the most important lessons I learned as a new gardener is that houseplants can't swim. Most of them are killed by overwatering. So if in doubt, go easy on the watering, cut back a bit, and you'll have a happy, healthy money tree.